With us officially starting the brand new year, everyone's talking about Nintendo's new consoles, when this upcoming Nintendo Direct is going to be, but I want to focus more on software, and not just software in particular, but talking about what if Nintendo had one brand new game, or at least one game every single month, meaning it can be a port, remake, remaster, whatever it is, just a new release from Nintendo every single month. So yes, I took all 12 months and filled them up with a new game, at least one new game every single month, from January all the way to December. So we are going to dive into this thing, but before we get started, I want to seriously thank you to the moon around the galaxy, because you guys somehow reached over 900 brand new subscribers in one day yesterday. I don't think I have ever reached something that high on this channel. You guys are absolutely blasting us towards the 300,000 subscriber mark before I even know it. So show me this video how excited you are for the games coming out this year from Nintendo by leaving a like and subscribing, and let's see how many we can gain from this video alone. Thank you guys for all your support, and let's start off with the month of January. Let's start off with the month of January, and what we know right now is on January 19th, a day before my birthday, believe it or not, we're getting another Code Recollection, which is a remake and a group of remakes actually with the first game and the second game, which the second game never did come to the States, so this was a big one for a lot of people, and we already know this is going to be the game of January, which is really just like a remaster slash port. I'm moving on to February. For February 16th, we're actually getting Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is a remaster from the Game Boy, which is very interesting because it is already a game that we know about, and it's just going to fill in that slot perfectly for us. Now, it is a smaller title. I mean, a lot of these can be considered smaller titles, but you know what? I'm still saying this is the only thing that's going to fill that February time slot. Of course, there are big Nintendo Directs and maybe even that Switch 2 presentation that could happen, but we're sticking primarily on games today. And for March, once again, we do have a game already slated for March 22nd. It's going to be probably one of the bigger games of the year, being Princess Peach Showtime, a brand new 3D side-scrolling action game, it looks like, with Princess Peach, where she can transform into different outfits in order to change her moveset, which is going to be pretty cool. To me, I'm placing this in a mindset of another type of Yoshi game, which is going to be fun, but a lot of people are going to be looking forward still to games that are still to come, but it's going to be our first and really only original game that we know about so far for 2024. And now we move on to Uncharted Waters, where we kind of have to figure everything else out ourselves. So next up for April, I chose Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC. Now there is a good chance that this could release sooner, maybe even as a shadow drop after one of the Nintendo Directs, whether it's in the February, March, January Direct, whatever's going to happen at the beginning of this year. But they might even push it down to April, simply due to the fact that we haven't even heard of anything for a release date yet. It seems like this time frame would be the best, especially since Splatoon 3's, free updates and content is going to last throughout the entirety of 2024. This seems like a good middle of the road slot. I mean, even with this releasing in April, I still would be shocked that it took this long, but I'm still glad to have it nevertheless. Now for May, we are pretty much done with stuff at the moment that we know, and I chose a Zelda game. Now it's not going to be anything new. It's going to be some type of port, remake, or remaster. It's going to happen, and it's going to probably be around the May time frame. I think that would work perfectly right before jumping into the summer, but this could be the Wind Waker port from the Wii U or the Twilight Princess port from the Wii U, since those are already up-resed and look good. They just maybe, up-res them a little bit more or something. But the only other thing I could think of is maybe Ocarina of Time remaster. We've been hearing rumors that Nintendo is working on one, so that could also go in the slot. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say Zelda something. As far as what it's going to be, it's just going to be a remake or a remaster, or maybe even a port of an older game. Now we move on to the summertime, and with June, I think there's two options here. One, if Nintendo is moving on to the next console at the end of the year, I'm saying there's no more big Switch games, so they're probably going to go with something small like a Mario Baseball. I think it's time for the next Mario sports game. The last one we got is Mario Strikers, so it's time to see what the other studios are doing with sports, and I think Mario Baseball or basketball would be best. I would love to see either. Personally, Mario Baseball, I think it's time for. It's one of those Mario sports games that we still haven't seen have its iteration on the Switch like the others have. But option two is if there's something with this next console maybe not coming at the holiday, or maybe Nintendo just wants to add one more Switch game, I think we could see the big Switch game here before moving on to the end of the year, meaning we could see a 2D or 3D Donkey Kong game, which I think is the only option for a new title this year. So I'm saying a Mario sports title or the big title for the year before moving on to the holiday, but I'm leaning more towards the Mario sports option. In July, we have Xenoblade X Remaster. There's been some rumors that Nintendo has been working on a remaster of a forgotten Wii U game, and a lot of people have also brought up the fact that Xenoblade X could very well get a remaster. I think it's time. I think the summertime, late summer is a perfect time for this, but it might be one of the last few Nintendo Wii U games that could be brought to the Switch, and it just kind of makes sense. I know a lot of people love this one. It was the first one to kind of just open up the world and allow you to fly your mechs all around the world. It looked pretty cool. I never got into it, but it seems like something Nintendo would definitely do. We don't really have a Fire Emblem or Xenoblade game. I would also maybe put here a Fire Emblem remake or remaster because there are some rumors with that, but something with my hunch is telling me Xenoblade. Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see, but definitely Xenoblade or Fire Emblem, one of those will fill this July spot. I think this month will also be shared, obviously, with Luigi's Mansion 2, which is a game that we know is coming. It's Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, a 3DS game, and I think this is a perfect time slot for this. The only thing we know about that game is it's coming in the summer, and I think July is a good time slot considering the fact that we really haven't heard much else about the game. It could be earlier, like June, but I'm guessing July. I just think it makes sense. You wouldn't really want so many remakes and remasters back to back. You want a nice little space between them, so I think July is good. And we move on to the month of August, which I think is where we're going to get Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door HD. I can see this being August or September. I think it's very much at the end of this year because Nintendo did just give it a 2024 release date. Now, I could be wrong because the game just recently got rated, which normally means it's almost ready to go, but with them just saying 2024, that sounded so strange. And Luigi's Mansion 2 HD got the title of summer, so yeah, I'm saying Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is going to be after Luigi's Mansion, which would probably put it around the fall in the August time. This is obviously a remake slash remaster of the original Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. It looks so good, and it's probably going to have some brand new additions and, you know, things added to the game as well, and I can't wait to see what else is coming to this game, and it just makes sense for an August time slot. I think we'll start seeing the Nintendo Switch wind down around September/October, where that new console, the Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever it's going to be called, is starting to pop up and getting ready to release. But for September, it's going to slowly start to close out the Nintendo Switch with a Mario Party. I can definitely see them waiting for this new console for a Mario Party, so this is still a little bit but we haven't had a Mario Party in a long time. I could see them adding a new one to end off the Nintendo Switch. This is not something that's necessarily needed for a new console, and it's something that would go onto the new console if it's backwards compatible, so yeah. But September, a new Mario Party game that goes back to the original form, and it's all brand new boards though, and brand new mini games. This is going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. It's going to be bigger than what people are expecting. For the month of October, probably the final month until the release of the new Switch, I say we get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 HD remakes, because Metroid Prime 4 is probably a big game coming to the new console, but probably not until next year, and this is the time to drop these two games. Now, it could just be Metroid Prime 2, and then maybe Metroid Prime 3 is at the beginning of next year. That would be kind of strange for Nintendo to do that, since they would be so close to each other, but maybe we get both of them in a 2-pack, kind of like Pikmin 1 and 2 together, and maybe they're just slightly up-res and not completely remade or remastered the same way Metroid Prime 1 was. But I think it's time for these games. It may be pushing it a little too far to go to the end of next year for these to come out, but they're definitely coming soon. And now we are in the month of November. All the Switch games are out now. It was a year of some smaller titles and remasters, remakes, and ports, but for the most part, it was pretty small with not a lot of big announcements or big games. But we've been waiting all year for this specific game to come out on the brand new console. Yep, the Switch 2 launches, and it launches alongside Super Mario Open World. That's what I'm calling it right now. Super Mario Open World is a huge open world Mario game for Nintendo, and it's the first time Mario ever opens up into something this massive, and it's along the lines of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Tons of regions to explore that all seamlessly flow together from different regions like desert, snow, jungle, and you can explore and collect stars at your own leisure and fight overworld bosses. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be Game of the Year, and finally, after a long 7 years, we will be able to have a new 3D Mario game. It's going to be massive, it's going to kick the new console off in a brilliant way, and it's going to end the year in a great high note. Now, with that awesome ending of the year, what is December going to have? Well, December normally doesn't have many Nintendo games at all. I think the only times I can think back is like a brand new Xenoblade title or maybe Pokemon, and that's exactly where I'm going to go. We haven't talked about Pokemon yet, and I don't think there's going to be the next gen this year, but I think they are going to end the year with something that fans enjoy, and that's the Legends games. Yes, they absolutely won fans' hearts with Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I think they needed to make another Legends game, giving us a new kind of open world area to explore, and just looks and runs a lot better, and it definitely would on that new Nintendo Switch, baby. So this would be another great game to have to get Pokemon fans super excited yet again for another Legends game, but this time on new hardware that hopefully looks and runs a lot smoother. I mean, the Pokemon company definitely needs this to happen. Get fans excited and show them that this next gen coming is going to look spectacular and it's going to be better than what they have done in the past. That is all the months January to December covered with new titles. Now, yes, there probably could still be some small surprises that I completely missed, or some double up some months like I did with July. For instance, I think we might see something spin-off wise for Kirby, something smaller like an eShop title, a cheap one, or even a free one to play. So there's always the potential for that, but for the most part, I think this is what the year is going to look like, at least kind of close. I think it's going to be a year full of remakes, remasters, and ports, considering the fact that that's pretty much all we know so far outside of Princess Peach Showtime, and I think we're not going to see any really big titles until the end of the year with that brand new Nintendo Switch. Yes, I'm full-fledged on this drive that we are going to see the new Nintendo console at the end of this year, and I think that open world 3D Mario game is going to come alongside it. But it's probably not too long until we start hearing about the thing and hearing about that Mario game as well, so it's time to get excited. The hype is about to get shifted into maximum overdrive. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the end of the video. Let me know what you think about my calendar year and if you would change anything or what you would add or switch around or change for yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. You guys have been amazing, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.